Welcome to my second video of markets in action, and in this video we are going to learn about law of supply. So keyword, what is supply?
Isn't supply when, so like let's say your car, you buy a car, you're gonna need like a lot of petrol when you drive and everything. So like more cars that are bought, the more petrol and diesel there is.
Nope, that is demand then, isn't it? You're demanding for it.
Oh.
Supply is the quantity of goods or commodities firms are willing to supply at or sell. We shouldn't be using the word we are asking question about. So is the quantity of commodity firms are willing to sell at the given market price. And we normally hear about the market price of oil, and if the market price of oil goes up, then the countries that are producing oil, they'll pump out more oil. Why? Because they tend to make more profit, more money out of it. Similarly with cars, though you can see these are second-hand cars, but if the price of cars goes up, then firms manufacturing cars will tend to supply more cars to the car market. Right, so we'll now understand what law of supply is. Law of supply, in simple words, is it states when the market price increases, the supply of a commodity will increase, and vice versa, cetres paribus. What that means is, when we just take into consideration the price, the supply curve is upward sloping. As we can see over here, is from £2, the firm is supplying 1500 units, and let's say if the price went up to £4, the firm is willing to supply 2500 units. So key point to note, the supply curve for a firm is upward sloping. And that is for an individual firm. And similarly, like we learned in our first video about demand, market demand, market supply is the horizontal addition of all supply. So it is the horizontal addition of all supply by individual firms in a given market. So in this case, there are 10 firms in the market, each supplying 2500 gallons of milk at market price of £4 a gallon. Calculate the total market supply. So the market price is £4, and one firm supplies 2500. Then the second firm also supplies 2500, so total quantity is 5000. Third firm pumps in another 2500, becomes 7.5. Fourth firm pumps in another 2500, it becomes 10,000. And ultimately, with up to the 10 firms, it'll be 2500 times 10, which is 25,000 gallons. And we can actually do it on the market supply curve. And there we are. At £4, they're supplying 25,000. So we can literally link this. So market supply curve is the horizontal addition of all the supply by individual firms in a market. So law of supply, it states when the market price increases, the supply of commodity will increase, and vice versa, cetres paribus. So cetres paribus is all the other factors other than price. So let us have a look at all the other factors. So these are improvement in technology, productivity, new resources discovered, joint supply, migration, and I've put other factors over here again. If technology is becoming obsolete, there is fall in labor productivity, resources are being exhausted, competitive supply, and immigration. So let's have a look through this. So these are factors other than price that will cause the supply curve to shift right or left. So these are the factors other than price that will cause the supply curve to shift right or left. So improvement in technology. If technology improves, what will happen to the supply curve? Will it shift to the right or to the left?
It will shift to the right.
To the right, because more quantity will be provided, so it shifts to the right. If labor productivity improves, so people are producing more, workers are producing more, so what happens to the total supply? Increases or decreases?
Total supply increases. So
And supply curve shifts to the
right.
well done. If we found new resources, let's say we're talking about shale gas in UK, so what will happen to the supply of energy or of shale gas?
There'll be more supply, so go to the right.
To the right. Do you understand what joint supply is?
Is it when so like let's say you've got something but you need to get something else for you to actually use it?
Or let's understand this, when there are two products coming from one source.
Like an iPhone and iPhone charger.
Nope, those are two different products in the big scheme of things.
But they come
They could be complementary products, but not. I'm talking about supply. Let's talk about if you're drilling for oil, petroleum. What else do we get for petroleum? Not only do we get petrol and diesel, we also get Vaseline. So supply of Vaseline will increase. Other chemicals.
Yeah.
So joint supply. If we supply more beef, there will be more leather. If we supply more petrol, diesel, there will be more Vaseline or other products that come with the supply of these goods. Okay? So what will happen to the supply curve? Will it shift to the right or to the left if the joint supply goes up?
It would shift to the right.
Well done. If we have a lot of inward migration in UK, a lot of people that are coming to UK, what will happen to the number of goods that the UK economy can produce? Will it increase or decrease?
It would increase because there'll be more people working and more people buying.
Right. So I'm not talking about demand, I'm talking more about supply right now. So what will happen to the supply curve? Will it shift to the right or to the left?
It would shift to the right.
Right. And what about the PPF curve?
It would stay the same.
If more people come in,
shift, like it would still
shift
further
outwards.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if the technology becomes obsolete and people don't know how to use it, what will happen to the supply curve?
It will go left.
Or it might just stay where it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it is. If labor productivity falls because they're demotivated, what happens to the supply curve?
It wouldn't produce as much, and it would go left.
It will go left. Well done. If resources are exhausted, like our North Sea oil has been diminishing over the years, so what's been happening to the fuel supply in UK? It's been diminishing. That is why we need more investment in North Sea. So it shifts supply curve to the left. Competitive supply. Competitive supply is when one resource is used to make multiple commodities. So let's say, for example, if you need milk, we can have milk to make either yogurt or you can have milk to make cheese. Now, if you use milk to make a lot of yogurt, will you have enough milk to make cheese?
No.
So what will happen to the supply of cheese?
It would go left.
Let's shift to the left. Emigration is when people leave from their own country to go abroad for better jobs. So if people leave from UK to work in European Union, what will happen to the productivity, or not productivity, production of UK? Will it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
It will decrease. And that's what's happening in the teaching profession. A lot of teachers are leaving the profession to go and work abroad in international schools. And that is why there is a huge shortage of teachers in UK itself. And what I've done over here is, with the red to show the shift of supply to the left, we can use this. And to show the supply of right. We've got the blue supply curve to the right. Any questions? Yeah.
No, not really.
Easy? Well
Mm.
done. So keep watching our videos and
Like and subscribe.
click us on YouTube. Thank you.